talk about kind of the catharsis you went through by writing it down, by writing a book. I myself wrote a book, and I remember when I was writing the book, I thought I never had a book in me. I was never a writer. I was a math major. I'm much happier with numbers than words. And yet there it is. There's the book. And so same thing for you. You were not specifically a writer, although I'm sure you've always been a good writer, but that was not really your personal area of bliss. And so talk a little bit about what that was like to write it down and how that felt, especially when knowing that other people were going to read about that.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say it wasn't my area of bliss, because as a young girl, I remember having a diary for a very short period of time. It didn't last long. And then I remember at some point in my adult life, people talking about the importance of journaling, which did not last very long either. So I wasn't writing on a personal level in any stretch of the imagination until the murders happened.
Oh.
And then when they happened, people brought us journals. In fact, the journal I'm writing from and using right now, it was the first journal I got in 2000, in April 13th, 2014. Like that first week, Margaret Reynolds handed me a journal as a gift, but I never used that one. It seemed to me that one was very sacred. And I used a lot of other journals, and now that's the one I'm actually picked up and using now, right after I finished the book. So the writing helped because there were so many things I couldn't say out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Lucas, our son Lucas, didn't want me to say Reed's name out loud. So if I wanted to talk about Reed or talk about my dad, I couldn't talk about them very easily in my own household. I could talk about my dad with my mom, but to be able to vent when I needed to do it personally and writing it down. And much of my journaling, a lot of my journaling took place in nature areas, like a park, Ironwoods Park in particular.
Yeah.
And then at the Wesley Chapel at Church of the Resurrection, I went every Thursday for an entire year and would write and write and write. So when I felt joy, when messages came to me, when yellow butterflies appeared, when people said they had a great memory of my dad or Reed, I would write it down because it was something that I wanted to remember. But I think specifically I started writing because I needed to have a conversation with them and with myself, and I needed to have it out of my system.